My aunt sold me for 3 taels of silver. I was only 10 years old then. But after being sold to the Marquis's manor, I realized I was being raised to be a chambermaid. In the end, I was following in my mother's footsteps. My mother had also been a chambermaid, but she unexpectedly became pregnant with me. In noble households, a chambermaid getting pregnant before the main wife is a massive taboo. So my mother fled while pregnant with me. When I was 5, my gravely ill mother entrusted me to my uncle. 5 years after her death, seeing me grow increasingly pretty, my aunt sold me, just as my grandmother had sold my mother. And so, the gears of fate began to turn. 5 girls entered the manor at the same time as me. When the old madam made her selection, she thought I looked decent, with delicate features, and a well-behaved demeanor. So she chose me alone to keep by her side, making early plans for her legitimate grandson. The old madam's grandson was like an immortal descendant. Although the master had 5 sons, only this one was born of the main wife. He was also incredibly brilliant. At 10, he fluently answered the emperor's questions in the Golden Hall. At 15, he passed the imperial examination, taking first place as the top scholar, and entered the court as an official. He is now the deputy minister of the Supreme Court, a third-rank official. Although the Marquis of Yangxue's manor is a top-tier noble family, their glory relies on hereditary titles, and each generation is worse than the last. For this generation to produce a figure like the young master is the ultimate pride of the entire Marquis's manor, bringing such honor to the family. The old madam naturally had early plans for his marriage. However, the young master is already 22 this year, and his mind is not on marriage. The old madam was anxious, but couldn't say much openly. After all, the young master was ambitious. With a promotion in sight, she couldn't very well discourage his ambition. I set down a cup of delicate Biluakun tea, and stood respectfully by the old madam's side. The old madam had her eyes closed, rolling prayer beads between her fingers. Yingxue, go to Huaijin's quarters tonight. Xie Huaijin. That was the young master's name. My heart trembled, and I softly agreed. She continued. Lately, the young master has been working late in the study with his colleagues. I fear he simply doesn't have the desire for it. You're grown now, and Huaijin is not getting any younger. You're 16 this year, aren't you? Yes. Having entered the manor at 10, I had always stayed by the old madam's side. Truthfully, I was grateful to her, because she was grooming me to be a chambermaid. I was spared all the heavy, dirty work. She would even teach me poetry and literature occasionally, saying the young master preferred educated women. I couldn't be completely unlettered and risk his disgust. Therefore, my life was better than even the concubine-born daughters of the manor. But ultimately, I was just a tool for the young master's sexual awakening. A chambermaid's entire life can be seen clearly from the start. If the future main wife is kind, she might spare my life. If she rules with an iron fist, she might find an excuse to beat me to death. If she wants to avoid gossip, she'd likely kick me out or sell me off. In short, none of those endings are good. At nightfall, it was already late when I reached the young master's courtyard, but he was still handling official affairs in his study. I didn't dare disturb him, so I went to his room to wait. Half the candle had burned down before he finally arrived. He wore a crescent white robe. The night wind was cold, so he wore a matching cloak over it. His slender figure was cast long by the moonlight. The young man stood tall, with aloof eyes and brows, and thin lips slightly pressed together, like a clear breeze and bright moon. A modest gentleman, gentle and refined. All the world's beautiful words couldn't fully describe his elegance. Seeing me waiting there, he slightly furrowed his brow. What are you doing here? I lowered my head, thinking he probably disliked my presence. Otherwise, knowing I was meant to be his chambermaid, he wouldn't have left me until I was 16 without asking the old madam for me. I spoke very cautiously. The old madam saw the young master working day and night, so she sent me to serve you. I don't need anyone to serve me. Go back and take care of grandmother. He sat down alone and poured a cup of tea. As expected, he had no interest in this matter, but the old madam sent me exactly because of his lack of interest. How could I let him dismiss me with just one sentence? If I became useless to him here as well, my only remaining path would be getting thrown out. Stealing my resolve, I walked up behind him. I had learned how to serve since entering the manor at 10. My slender fingers had never done heavy labor. I massaged his shoulders. The pressure was just right. My voice soft and light. The tea is boiling hot. Be careful, young master. You've been tired all day. Let me massage your shoulders and loosen your muscles. My wrist was suddenly gripped. The grip was quite strong. I frowned slightly, looking at him in confusion. He looked as if he had been burned, and let go of my hand. His voice was still cold. I said no need. You may leave. I had failed. But if it were that easy, the old madam wouldn't worry so much. I bowed slightly. curtsied, and went to the servants' quarters. Even though I stayed by the old madam's side, I still shared a room with the other senior maids. Since I wasn't good with words, our relationship was merely distant. Except for one, who had long been at odds with me. That was Xingxing. Back then, her looks stood out. But because she talked too much, the old madam disliked her. Thus, she lost the chance to become the chambermaid. That's why she held a grudge against me, believing that without me, she would have had the role. Oh my, I heard you went to the young master's room today. What happened? Did you come back without getting anything done? Looks like you aren't so capable either. Xingxing mocked me. Xuanqi, beside her, tugged at her, gesturing for her to stop talking. But that only made her more arrogant. What? She failed, and we aren't even allowed to talk about it? Just look at what kind of person the young master is. How could he let himself be tainted by her? Yet she thinks that after 6 years by the old madam's side, she's more precious than the master's. Does she really think the young master fancies her? Just shut up. Yingxue was chosen by the old madam. For better or worse, she'll stay by his side. Some people could dream a lifetime and still never reach that point. Another senior maid, Kai Wei, spoke up for me. Since she was the most mediocre among the maids. For some reason, she loved flattering me, always trying to get me to side with her against Xingxing. I shook my head at her, signaling her to drop it. It didn't matter what Xingxing said about me. Their bickering had nothing to do with me. I didn't want to deal with them for the rest of my life. Either way, I would eventually leave this manor. Ignoring them, I didn't even bother to argue back. I straightened my quilt and went to sleep. Early the next morning, I woke up before dawn and went to the young master's private kitchen to make him silver ear mushroom, lotus seed, and lily soup. Silver ear mushroom takes time to release its gelatin. I squatted by the small stove, dozing off as it simmered. Timing it with his return from court, I took it to his study. He was indeed there, but there were also a few of his colleagues. I set the soup down, my face burning slightly, keeping my head lowered. I didn't know you had guests today, so I only prepared one bowl of soup. Please forgive my lack of manners. What kind of tea do you gentlemen prefer? I'll go brew some right away. A handsome young man beside him spoke with a slightly teasing tone. Brother Xie, since when do you have such a sweet girl in your courtyard? And you kept her hidden from us? You're a sly one, aren't you? I looked up in panic, meeting the young master's deep, pool-like gaze. His voice remained as cold as ever. Aren't you going to leave? I had just wanted to please him, but I ended up hitting a wall instead. I was so considerate, serving him soup and tea. Yet the young master treated me colder by the day. I was starting to lose my patience. The old madam had sent someone over several times, demanding I present the handkerchief from our first night. But I hadn't even spent a single night in his room. Yingxue. As long as you accompany Huaijin until his new wife arrives, I will give you your deed of sale. Then you can stay or leave as you please. But you must fulfill your duties as a chambermaid. This was the old madam's promise to me, and my reason for trying to please the young master. As long as I stayed by his side as his chambermaid, until the new main wife arrived, I would be free. I could leave the Marquis's manor, and enjoy a free life, never to be a servant again. When the old madam rushed me again, I was out of options. That night, I brought a pot of warm wine to him. The autumn night is cold and dewy. Have some warm wine to heat your body, young master. The warm wine splashed into the cup, releasing swirling steam that gracefully curled upwards, blurring one's vision. Because I had been serving his meals lately, he suspected nothing, and drank it in one gulp. I poured him 2 more cups, and he drank those as well. Watching him drink it all, I breathed a sigh of relief. I closed the doors and windows tightly, and bolted the latch. Xie Huaijin looked at me warily. Aren't you going back to rest? He meant I should return to the servants' quarters. It's too late. Let me help you to bed, young master. Summoning my courage, I reached out to unfasten his robe. My wrist was grabbed. His palm was warm against my skin. He lowered his eyes, looking at me intently. His voice carried a hint of helplessness. Don't do this, Yingxue. My heart skipped a beat. This wasn't the first time he had called my name, but it was the first time we were alone. His voice was hoarse and rich, so pleasant it made me want to melt into his arms. Feeling a flush of heat and a fluttering heart, I heard his breathing grow ragged. The hand holding mine turned searing hot. I looked up and saw his hazy eyes. A suspicious blush appeared on his handsome face. He realized something was wrong. He gripped my hand even tighter, as if trying to snap my wrist. You drugged the wine. He sounded furious. The old madam had Xuanqi bring me the wine. I understood her intentions right then. She just wanted to know if her grandson was capable. She didn't care if a servant like me would anger the young master and get beaten to death or sold off. With trembling hands, I took off his outer robe. My voice had an imperceptible tremble. Young master, Let me serve you in bed. A wave of dizziness washed over me, and I was immediately pressed onto the soft bed, his burning body pressed against mine, pinning me down firmly. Looking up, his expression was still ice cold, but driven by the drug. His breath was scorching hot. His eyes were unfocused, yet his voice was fierce. Yingxue, do you want to be a chambermaid that badly? It's not that I want to, it's that I have no choice. Please be gentle with me, young master. His Adam's apple bobbed. The last trace of clarity in his eyes vanished. He said through gritted teeth, "Fine. Don't regret this." It wasn't that I wouldn't regret it. It was that I had no right to. As a lowly maid bought by the Marquis' manor, the best fate anyone could imagine for me was this. Or perhaps, one day, being elevated to a concubine. Forever bowing and scraping. Watching the man I called husband show deep respect to another woman. Maybe I'd have a child or two. Who would be born of a concubine? Or worse, the child of a mere chambermaid. Living out their whole lives as marginalized figures in this manner. Just passing the time until death. I didn't want any of those outcomes. When I woke up the next day, it was already noon. The spot beside me was long cold. On our first night, he was far from gentle, leaving my entire body aching. The drug should have worn off after one time. Yet he deliberately tormented me half the night. When I got up, my body was impossibly sore and weak. My pale skin was covered in ambiguous marks. I gritted my teeth, staying completely silent, and tidied up the room. I presented the handkerchief to the old madam. She was very pleased. She told me to rest for a few days, and that I didn't need to serve the young master. That suited me perfectly. I had schemed against him last night. When he woke up today, he probably wanted to strangle me. If I kept wandering in front of him, I probably wouldn't get a good reaction. Because I had spent the night in his room, all the maids in the manor became respectful toward me. Even Xingxing was no exception. People are just like that. Kissing up to the high and stepping on the low. I slept for an entire day. It was already evening when I woke up. No one had called me for meals. So naturally, I missed them. I'm a servant. Missing mealtime means there's nothing to eat. I could only go hungry. I might as well lie back down. If I fall asleep, I won't feel hungry anymore. Suddenly, the door was pushed open. It was Shuangqi's voice. "Why are you still sleeping? The young master has sent for you several times. Hurry up and go." "Sent for me? Are you sure? Did he call for me just to scold me?" Shuangqi nodded. "Yes. Kaiwei said he asked where you were multiple times, asking why you weren't there to serve him." I quickly got up, smoothed out my clothes, and dragged my aching body to his courtyard. When I reached his courtyard, I felt it wasn't right to go empty-handed. I went to the kitchen, brewed a pot of chrysanthemum pear tea, and brought it over, hoping it would help cool his temper. The young master was in the study, with the lamps lit. His eyes were focused, carefully tracing lines with his brush. It seemed he was drawing something important. "Young master," I called out softly. He seemed a bit flustered, crumpling the rice paper and tossing it into a corner. When he looked up at me again, his gaze was aloof. "Before me, at least you know to show up. I haven't seen you all day. Where have you been slacking off?" He asked so many questions at once. I didn't know how to answer. I thought after last night, he wouldn't want to see me wandering around him. But looking at him now, it was as if last night never happened. Did that drug also erase memories? I presented the chrysanthemum pear tea to him. "Have some sweet tea, young master." He glanced down at the teacup, then looked up at me, a hint of amusement in his eyes. "There's nothing wrong with this tea, right?" I quickly shook my head. The old madam had already achieved her goal. She wouldn't force me anymore. He picked it up and took a sip. The chrysanthemum was refreshing, and the pear was sweet. This tea suited his taste perfectly. Then he went back to copying calligraphy, leaving me standing to the side. He called me over. Not to scold me, but not to have me serve him either. As the sky turned dark, moonlight cast the shadows of branches onto the window lattice. My legs were going numb from standing, but he was still copying his scrolls. "Young master, it's getting late. You should rest early. Don't strain your eyes." In truth, I was the one who couldn't take it anymore. Standing here with him, I didn't even dare breathe loudly. The soreness from last night hadn't faded yet. I just wanted to go back to my room and rest. He gave a non-committal and set down his brush. "Help me to bed." I thought I misheard him. He never let anyone serve him when resting. Except for last night when I tricked him. No one had ever been able to get close to him. Seeing my silence, he glanced at me. "What? Unwilling?" I went into his room and unfolded the bedding. He followed me in, and closed the door. Smoothly and naturally. My back stiffened. I didn't know whether to stay or leave. He, however, was completely at ease. He opened his arms, waiting for me to approach. "Have you forgotten how to serve me?" I could only bite the bullet and go unfasten his robes. Last night, I did it because I had no choice and had to succeed. Tonight, besides nervousness, I felt a trace of reluctance. What was this? Was he drugged again today? My hands trembled, unable to undo even a single frog button. His breathing slowly grew heavy. Hot air brushing against the top of my head. The atmosphere became thick with ambiguity. His hands rested on my waist, slowly tightening their grip. You weren't this shy yesterday. My mind buzzed, and my whole face burned hot. So he remembered everything. Then why was he acting like this tonight? I looked up, just as he looked down. Our lips met tenderly, bringing an indescribable feeling. Usually such a cold, aloof person. His whole body was burning hot right now. He pulled me down onto the bed, his voice brushing against me like a feather. Since you made this choice, don't regret it. Regret? I needed the leverage to even afford regret. After that night, things spiraled out of control. Every time he returned from court, he'd call me to serve him, not letting me leave until he had to attend court the next day. If it was his day off, he would pull me into the study to paint and write all day. Sometimes, unable to restrain himself, he nearly crossed the line right there in the study. This went on for over a month. From my initial panic, to acceptance, and eventually, actually enjoying the time spent with him every day. Undeniably, I had grown to like it. Whenever we were alone, I couldn't help but steal glances at him. But he would tap my head, telling me to focus on my copying. This elegant, noble young master was so outstanding. All the young ladies in the capital were enamored with him. How could I be any different? But I was painfully aware of the massive gap in our statuses. The old madam went from worrying her grandson was incapable, to worrying he was too capable. Seeing him indulge in me day after day, she finally decided to lay her cards on the table. She called me over, and without explaining why, she had Xingxing bring a tray of gold and silver jewelry for me to choose from. She held my hand, repeatedly praising me for a job well done, telling me to take my pick. Take whatever you like. I didn't hold back. Once I left the manor, there would be plenty of places where I'd need money. I took the silver, but declined the jewelry. The old madam was very satisfied. Only then did she reveal her intentions. Huaijin is not getting any younger. I've arranged a marriage for him. She's the legitimate granddaughter of Elder Dong of the cabinet, 16 this year, and a perfect match for Huaijin's status. Yes. I kept my eyes lowered submissively. The old madam's judgment is naturally the best. Huaijin said the same thing. He's already nodded his agreement. But because the Empress Dowager passed away, the 3-year national mourning period is not yet over. So the wedding is set for this time next year. We'll be sending the betrothal gifts to their manor in a couple of days. My hands hanging by my sides clenched slightly. Afraid of being noticed, I slowly released them. The bitterness in my heart felt like the bowls of medicine I drank daily, seeping into my very bones. So he had already settled on the young lady he would marry. Naturally, I couldn't compare to her. I knew this would be the outcome all along. Yet hearing it still made my heart ache. Perhaps this was simply human selfishness at work. The old madam then took out my deed of sale. We agreed before. If you did your job well, you could choose your path once the new bride arrives. You've done exceptionally well. I'm returning this deed of sale to you early. Whether you stay or leave is up to you. I figured she was worried the young master was too focused on me, which could lead to discord with his new bride. So she wanted to get rid of me now. This was exactly what I wanted. I didn't have to wait for the new bride to arrive. I accepted the deed with trembling hands, looking at the paper that marked me as property. Tears of resentment welled up in my eyes. Thank you, old madam. That night, I heard the young master was delayed in the palace. I packed my bags, burned my deed of sale, and left the manor with the silver the old madam gave me. Xuangxi asked me, "Have you really made up your mind?" Honestly, we can all tell. The young master is very fond of you. If you stay, even after the new bride arrives, he'll make you a concubine. You wouldn't be property anymore, but a proper concubine. If you give him a child or two, it'll be enough for you to enjoy a good life. I shook my head firmly. My ambitions don't lie here. Xuangxi didn't try to persuade me further. To my surprise, this distant maid handed me an ingot of silver. I never plan on leaving this manor, so having too much money is useless to me. You'll need it more out there. Take it. We're sisters, after all. Don't be polite with me. I didn't accept it, because we'd likely never meet again, and I wouldn't be able to repay her kindness. Life outside the manor was incredibly liberating. I lost my mother when I was little. My ruthless uncle sold me to the Marquis's manor. Naturally, I wouldn't go looking for him. The world is vast, and the bird is free to fly. Now, I'm a bird with money, time, and the desire to fly far away. I wanted to travel and see the sights first, then find the most suitable place to settle down. Running a small business would be fine, or just living off my savings. I will control the rest of my life. Nothing could be better. But barely a month had passed. Before I started feeling unwell, walking was exhausting, and sleeping was exhausting. The innkeeper where I stayed couldn't bear to see me like this and called a doctor. But the doctor's words nearly scared the soul out of me. He said, "My lady, you are truly bold. You are 2 months pregnant, yet you travel so arduously, with no regard for the life of the child in your womb." The teacup slipped from my hand, shattering the silence of the room. How is that possible? My doubt displeased the doctor. "My lady, though I may be untalented, I have read many medical texts, even as a mere traveling doctor. Your condition is simply pregnancy, not some baffling illness. If you still think my diagnosis is wrong, then perhaps you should find a better doctor." I wasn't questioning his medical skills. I was questioning myself. Back in the manor, ever since I started serving the young master, I drank a bowl of contraceptive soup every day, whether I stayed the night or not. In noble households, the greatest taboo is having a child before the new bride arrives. I was well aware of this. I remembered once, the young master saw me drinking the soup. He asked me what it was. How would a man who only debates scholars at court understand inner courtyard matters? I truthfully told him it was contraceptive soup. He frowned, slightly displeased. "Don't drink it anymore. It harms your body." I agreed. But privately, I didn't dare miss a single dose. How could this be? But now, a child was already in my womb. Looking down, I touched my flat stomach. I could hardly believe it. A life was growing inside here. I originally thought I was entirely alone in this world. I never expected the heavens to grant me such a massive surprise. I wanted to keep the child in my womb. Not because of the young master. Not because of the Marquis's manor. But simply because I was too lonely. I wanted a child to keep me company. To get through these long years. Being pregnant, I couldn't be like before. Completely unburdened. I stayed in this small town. And bought a relatively quiet courtyard. I opened a modest bookstore. With the allowance the old madam had given me, I lived a rather peaceful life. The baby was very considerate of me. Since getting pregnant, I hadn't felt any severe discomfort. It was still that angry doctor who attended to me. Only his expression wasn't so harsh anymore. Instead, he comforted me. "Life is already hard for women in this world. My lady, you are pregnant and all alone. You must be extra careful in all things. If you don't mind, the child you bear can learn medicine from me. It would give them a way to make a living." I naturally thanked him. Since I was settling down here, maintaining good relations was definitely necessary. Days passed one by one. Quiet and ordinary. Except that rumors spread in the town. That a pregnant lady had arrived. Without a husband. Probably kicked out by her in-laws. Whenever I heard these rumors, I just smiled. You can control anything but other people's mouths. I have my own way of surviving. Let them talk. When I was 7 months pregnant, my body felt heavy. I hired a scholar to watch the bookstore for me. I rarely went there anymore. I just walked around the courtyard. To prevent the baby from growing too large. The scholar came to see me a few times. Sometimes bringing his paintings. He painted beautiful landscapes. But his talent went unrecognized. He could only make a living selling paintings in this town. I often encouraged him. "Sir, your talent is extraordinary. One day, you will surely achieve great things." After being praised, his eyes would shine unusually bright. "Do you really think so, Lady Ying?" I nodded and smiled. I believed he could. It's just that stepping out of this town was the hardest part for him. I planned to fund his departure after I gave birth. For him to only paint in this town, it was too much of a pity. But before I could give birth, a group of people barged into my courtyard. All of them were sturdy, skilled guards. Then, an elegant, noble lady walked in. She examined me with a cold expression. But when she saw my swollen belly, she smiled. "Who are you people? Trespassing on private property will get you sent to the magistrate." I observed her as well. Seeing her age, she didn't seem to be the young master's peer. Was she from the Marquis's manor, here to cause trouble because of my pregnancy? She sat down at the square stone table in the courtyard, her gaze proud and aloof. "Don't be afraid. I'm not a bad person. You should address me as your legitimate mother." This was even more absurd than her asking me to call her madam. I laughed. "I don't even have a mother. Where would a legitimate mother come from?" "You do. Or rather, are you afraid to admit it?" "Makes sense. Your mother was a chambermaid. And now, you are pregnant without even having a husband. You probably have no face to talk about bringing honor to your mother." Her words were like a thorn, piercing right into my heart. I clenched my fists tightly. But mindful of the child in my womb, I couldn't afford to agitate the fetus. "Are you here to humiliate me? If you have no other business, please leave. I told you, you should call me your legitimate mother. Where are your manners? Speaking of which, you are truly lucky. Your father never had any other children after you. He's dead. Now you can come home with me and inherit his massive fortune." A pie falling from the sky. And it landed right on my head. My mother was a chambermaid. She did her job well, never fighting or grabbing for power, solely focused on serving her masters, living a completely transparent life. My father's family were originally merchants. Later, they bought my father a minor 9th rank official position. That was when my mother was bought into the family. My father's mother was a very calculating woman. She knew my father lacked talent and would be stuck at this 9th rank position forever. So she wanted him to cling to someone powerful. The opportunity came quickly. A 4th rank official reporting in the capital returned to his hometown with his daughter to observe mourning. The official's daughter was 18, already considered an older age for marriage. She had to observe 3 years of mourning on top of that. By the time it was over, she'd be 21, making it even harder to marry. But my grandmother didn't mind. She only wanted my father to secure this 4th rank official as his father-in-law. So she proposed marriage several times. She even promised a grand, miles-long dowry procession 3 years later, a majestic ceremony to welcome the bride. And just like that, the marriage was arranged. But in 3 years, many unexpected things can happen. The unexpected thing was my mother getting pregnant. The new bride was already decided, just not yet wedded. A chambermaid getting pregnant first is a massive taboo, but their family line was thin, and the old lady desperately wanted a grandson. So she took the risk and let my mother give birth to me. But I turned out to be a girl, dashing the old lady's hopes. Then, fearing the official's family would blame them, she kicked my mother, who had just given birth, out of the manor. She even slandered her, claiming she bore a bastard. With nowhere else to go, my mother returned to her maiden home. Her brother and sister-in-law disliked her, and her father didn't care for her. She raised me until I was 5, then passed away from poor health. Before she died, she gave all her valuables to my uncle, begging him to raise me well and find me a good family, to be a proper main wife. Those valuables only bought my uncle's conscience for 5 years. Once 5 years passed, seeing me grow increasingly pretty, he sold me to the Marquis's manor to be a chambermaid, just as his father had sold my mother. This piece of history had already rotted in my stomach. I had absolutely nothing to do with their family anymore. You must have found the wrong person. I will not go back with you. Find someone else for your massive fortune. Are you really willing to let everything your mother traded her life for fall into the hands of others just like that? Back then, I didn't know about your mother's situation. By the time I found out, she had already passed away. As she spoke, a trace of pity flickered in my legitimate mother's eyes. Your father lacked the blessing of descendants. He took several concubines, but couldn't produce a single child until his death. You are his only flesh and blood. Come back with me. The child in your womb won't be cursed as a bastard like you were. He will receive a good education and have abundant resources. Everything. As long as he wants it, he will have it. What if I refuse? I clenched my hands hanging by my sides. She pulled her fur cloak closer around herself, her eyes sharp. I am not discussing this with you, even if you don't want it. The wealth that belongs to you will be yours. I simply don't want that wealth falling into the hands of people I loathe even more. I understood now. She didn't like me, but there were people she hated more, and those hated people were trying to divide this wealth. Finding me was to disgust them. I still followed her, returning to the Su family. There was no point in staying here anymore. Since she could find me here, it meant she had ways to make it impossible for me to stay. Besides, I was nearing my delivery date. If anything happened, it would be 2 lives lost. I was a woman alone, heavily pregnant and without a husband. Local thugs had already harassed me several times, thanks to the scholar and the doctor for driving them away. But it wasn't a long-term solution. I returned to this home where I had never lived. A massive, wealthy compound, truly grand, run by her, the legitimate daughter of an official, and backed by massive wealth. The Su Manor. Calling it a noble household wouldn't be an exaggeration. My legitimate mother's name was Molin, only in her 30s. Yet she possessed the prestige usually seen only in older madams. I suppose this is the aura of someone in power. She gathered everyone in the Su Manor and announced my identity as the eldest miss of the Su family. My original name was Su Yingxue. The old madam of the Marquis's manor had once asked my name. I said it was Yingxue. She thought it was a good name, not vulgar, so she kept it. This name was given to me by my mother. Yingxue, reflecting snow, as pure and flawless as spotless jade. She arranged a very large courtyard for me, complete with rockeries and a pond, countless times better than the house I bought. She even assigned over 10 maids and servants to attend to me. From now on, you are in charge of the Su Manor. But since you are pregnant and nearing your due date, looking over the accounts and family properties can wait until after you give birth. For now, it's best you rest and recuperate. They won't submit to me. I knew very well, just based on her empty words. Was I the Su family miss just because she said so? Moreover, I had no foundation here. Unlike her, with a retired father above, and a brother reporting in the capital below. Of course, they are eager to overthrow you, so they can divide the Su family's wealth. But you have a trump card. A married daughter cannot inherit from her maiden home. How wonderful. You just happen to be unmarried. Just a chambermaid, who was handed her deed of sale and kicked out. And carrying a child in your womb. Once born, this child is a descendant of the Su family. Who would dare say they lack your father's bloodline? She looked at my swollen belly. She had certainly investigated my past thoroughly, even knowing I was a chambermaid, who left with her deed of sale. Well, she had a brother serving as an official in the capital. Knowing these things wasn't surprising. And so, I settled into the Su Manor. The servants were relatively respectful. After all, they were just working for money. But some people grew restless. I finally learned who Molin meant by those trying to divide the wealth. It was the second and third uncles of the Su family. They were born of concubines, not from the same mother as my father. The old lady disliked them, and had them branch off and live separately early on. However, because the Su family's businesses were vast and complex, they remained entangled. My father had been dead for barely a year. Yet they were already making their moves, wanting to divide the Su family, and drive away the legitimate mother. But due to the power of my legitimate mother's maiden family, they hadn't succeeded yet. When the second and third uncles arrived, I was offering incense in the ancestral hall. 3 lit incense sticks were handed to me, but I didn't take them. Molin advised me. He is already dead. Some basic etiquette is still required. If for nothing else, do it for the living to see. Only then did I reluctantly take the incense and place it. The second and third uncles hurried in, pointing at me and launching into a tirade. Look at her. Third brother. Look at her. Where does she resemble our brother? She's definitely a bastard. Sister-in-law. You can't just to keep the Su family's power from falling into others' hands. Find some random person as a replacement. Besides, she's a woman. And pregnant. Bringing her in, who knows how she schemes for the Su family's wealth. Every word, every sentence, was aimed at Molin. Because Molin found me. Because, by standing on Molin's side, I ensured they got nothing. It seemed she had experienced this scene many times before. Listening to their accusations, she didn't even furrow her brow. Where does she not resemble your short-lived brother? If she doesn't resemble your short-lived brother, doesn't that mean harsh look resemble your late mother? Can't you tell? I suspected Molin was insulting them, but I had no proof. No matter what was said, the two refused to let me take charge of the Su family. The Su family's wealth is to be inherited by Su family descendants. This is the rule my mother-in-law wrote down before she died. She is a daughter of the Su family, and naturally carries a Su descendant in her womb. Once born, the child can inherit the Su family wealth. If you disagree, you can take it up with your mother in the underworld. Don't waste your breath on me here. Fine. Fine. Relying on your official brother, and your retired father. You dare to invert black and white like this? I couldn't hold back, and blurted out. If you two uncles had the capability, you could invert black and white too. Their faces turned purple with rage. Molin also cast me an approving glance. This is raw power. Though I didn't want to admit it. It worked wonders. Molin could control the Su family, bring me back and immediately place me as the miss of the Su family, and hand me the keys to the household. All because she had power. She wasn't afraid of trouble. Because she had backing. Others simply couldn't compete with her. That's why she was so confident. Yet, such a domineering woman. Had a heartbreaking past. I heard from Bayer, my personal maid, that Molin actually had a lover once. But he was just a poor scholar. Her family disapproved. But she refused to compromise, stubbornly remaining unmarried until she was 18. Then her grandmother died, requiring a mourning period. She intended to wait until she was in her 20s, considered old, to marry the scholar, leaving her father with no choice. But heaven did not grant her wish. A bout of severe cold took the poor scholar's life. She was mourning with her father in their hometown, and couldn't even see him one last time. Afterward, her heart died. She followed her father's arrangement and married into the Su family, only to find herself in another tiger's den. My father was fickle, and disliked that she was already in her 20s when she married him. Within a year, he took 2 concubines. As time went on, the number of concubines only grew. Her heart was already dead. It didn't matter to her how many women my father took. She was merely living for her family's honor. Heir was born at the end of the year. The cold wind howled, but the manor's underfloor heating kept it warm. Molin carefully held the newborn child, the coldness on her face melting into a smile. She said, I lack the blessing of descendants too, and won't have a child of my own in this lifetime. Seeing you give birth makes me truly happy. Perhaps she was lamenting her own youth. Heir was just as easy to handle as when he was in the womb. Looked after by 2 wet nurses. He never caused any trouble. Molin loved him. and actually spent more time with him than I, his biological mother, did. I began to take over the Su family's businesses, familiarizing myself with their operations. I had actually started learning this before I gave birth, but only by reading account books and storefront layouts. I had never visited the shops in person. Now that I had given birth, I needed to pull myself together. Externally, dealing with the covetous second and third uncles. Internally, inspecting our own shops to guard against thieves from within. Molin's heart was entirely with Heir. She let me do as I pleased, and I began going out to inspect the shops. The Su family's businesses spanned the entire dynasty, from grand antique shops and banks to small general stores and inns. The Su family had a hand in it all. And so, I started investigating locally, gradually expanding outward. This investigation took 5 years. 5 years later, I returned to the Su Manor once again. As soon as I stepped out of the carriage, I saw Molin rushing out in a flurry. She had someone bring a fur cloak to block the cold wind, but wrapped it around the little one behind me instead. She constantly scolded me. Tell me, why did you insist on taking Heir to inspect the businesses? He's only 5, bumping along with you, suffering hardships at such a young age. I had only been in the neighboring town for 5 days this time. Yet hearing her, it sounded like I had taken Heir away for 5 years. Regardless, from now on, if you want to go, go alone. Don't drag my Heir along. I had been busy with the business since Heir was born, so she was the one who raised him. Therefore, she loved Heir even more. Heir had a sweet mouth. Hugging her neck, he acted spoiled. Grandmother, Heir missed you so much. It feels like I haven't seen you in many autumns. Oh my precious Heir, my darling. Molin was overjoyed. Grandmother will take you to meet. What should he call my brother? Molin turned and asked me. I shook my head. I don't know. Maternal grandfather? Maternal great-uncle? I had never figured out this generation hierarchy, and I didn't know how. He should be called great-uncle. The coachman beside us interjected. Be a good boy, Heir. Your great-uncle is back from the capital on leave. Grandmother will take you to play with your great-uncle, okay? I heard your great-uncle even brought a friend from the capital. Grandmother will take you to meet him. No. Heir wants to stay with grandmother at home and look at the fish and tell stories. All right. Whatever Heir wants. She carried Heir away, not even sparing a glance for me standing at the door. Heir came over and said, Molin's brother, Mo Qing, is coming to the Su Manor to see his sister tonight. Since I just got back, she wants me to prepare as well. People from the capital, huh? A figure flashed through my mind. I smiled bitterly and shook my head. It's been 6 years. He wouldn't remember me. Calculating from that time, he must have been married for 5 years now. His child would be just a year or two younger than Heir. Realizing what I was thinking, I quickly snapped back to reality. I shouldn't think of him anymore. Mo Cheng is now a third-rank high official. A very high-ranking official. His father retired without even reaching his rank. So the Su Manor was carefully preparing everything, ensuring no mistakes. Even though he was just coming to see his sister, the Su Manor couldn't afford to lose face. So that night, the Su Manor was bustling. I also dressed up specially, wearing somewhat luxurious clothes. Molin went out front to greet her brother. I held Heir's hand as we walked out, carefully instructing him. Heir, we have distinguished guests at home today. No misbehaving. You must be good. Later, I'll take you to the backyard to pick osmanthus flowers, okay? Heir nodded earnestly, looking up at the door. His childish voice was full of sincerity. What a handsome uncle. I smiled and looked up, thinking he must mean Mo Qing. The smile on my lips froze, looking at the man before me, as slender as I remembered. But the aura around him was even colder. His face showed more maturity, more composed than 6 years ago. His cold eyes first looked at Heir, then fell upon me, terrifyingly icy. Oblivious, Molin introduced us. This is my daughter, the head of our Su family, and this is her child, Heir. Hearing the precise introduction, his eyes darkened, seemingly growing even colder. He opened his mouth, his voice indifferent. Seeing how young your daughter is, I didn't expect her child to be so grown. Indeed, her child, 4 years old. He was only 4. Molin looked at me in confusion, then looked at Xie Huaijin, not understanding what was going on. Xie Huaijin chuckled softly, laced with sarcasm. Quite capable. What capability? Mo Qing interrupted, walking over. He was a burly, imposing man. Why do you say that, Brother Xie? I haven't introduced you yet. Xie Huaijin is currently a second-rank official, the right vice minister of the Ministry of Justice. He's a highly sought-after figure in the capital. Sister, you must host him well. He had indeed been promoted. I slowly curtsied and paid my respects. Commoner Su Yingxue greets Lord Xie. He cast a dark, gloomy glance at me, then was dragged away by Mo Qing to the banquet outside. My blurting out just now, that Heir was purely selfish. Selfishly. I didn't want him to know I had his child. This child was conceived despite taking every single bowl of contraceptive soup. He was an existence the Xie family wouldn't want. As the host, I had to sit at the banquet no matter what. To entertain a VIP like Xie Huaijin. Molin, seeing her family, was naturally overjoyed. She constantly chatted and toasted with Mo Qing, while I sat there restlessly with Heir. Heir was getting sleepy, rubbing his eyes. Finding an excuse, I stood up and apologized. My son is restless, and might fuss if he's too tired. I'll take him to bed now. Please, enjoy yourselves. If the child is sleepy, just give him to the wet nurse. As the host, shouldn't you stay for the meal? Xie Huaijin poured himself a drink, raising his phoenix eyes. I couldn't read the emotion in them. Molin chimed in. For the first time, I felt Molin was a bit too outgoing. My half-raised body had to sit back down. Heir was carried away by the wet nurse. Xie Huaijin sat opposite me, drinking. He accepted every toast. Before long, he looked unsteady. Someone, take Lord Xie to sober up. I couldn't stand watching anymore. The Su Manor is large. I fear the paths are dark. Why doesn't Miss Su lead the way? I couldn't avoid it. I had to get up and lead him to the back pavilion to sober up. Holding a lotus lantern, I walked in front. The man's footsteps behind me were uneven. He seemed heavily intoxicated. I wanted to help him, but ultimately felt it inappropriate. Reaching the rockery, someone grabbed my shoulder. The lantern fell from my hand, and I was pinned against the rocks. You're very good indeed. Under the moonlight, his pitch-black eyes were hazy with alcohol. I don't know what Lord Xie is talking about. I turned my head away, the rocks painfully digging into my back. Pretending. You're so good at pretending. Were you pretending back then too? So, I was just your plaything, right? He reached out, gently lifting my long hair, playing with it in his hand. I frowned, thinking he was deeply drunk. How did this turn into me treating him as a plaything? Lord Xie, try calling me that again. His tone was threatening. Young master, admitting it now? I thought. You plan to pretend not to know me forever. A look of hurt flashed across his eyes. Young master, I am no longer a servant, and I've been recognized by the Su family. I haven't even thanked you for your care back then. I meant that truthfully. Although I was with him for just a few months, he never mistreated me. He was gentle with me, never ordered me around like a servant, and often taught me calligraphy and painting. I remembered it all. So you just walked away? To repay my kindness? He leaned in close, his hot breath brushing my face, carrying the scent of wine. I wanted to escape, but he pinned me tightly. I was just a servant, and now I've had a child. Why continue this entanglement? If your family knew, they wouldn't let this go easily. Those words worked. The hand pinning my shoulder released. My body felt light, as he stepped back several paces. How heartless of you. Separated for 6 years. Your child is already 4. You found another man, started a new life, and pretend not to know me. My heart ached, my fingertips trembling. I wanted to reach out to him, but finally held back. He turned and vanished into the vast night. I crouched down, picked up the broken lantern, and went to find someone to relight it. When I returned to the front hall, most people had left. Molin and Mo Qing were still drinking happily. I sent people to find Xie Huaijin. The Su Manor was indeed large, and it was his first time here. I was afraid he'd get lost. I stepped forward and took their wine cups away. It's late. Lord Rong, you should rest early. Mother, you should go accompany Heir too. Oh, right. Yes. I need to go be with Heir. Heir is my life now. He's my son. She was talking nonsense. Heir is your grandson. Thankfully, Mo Qing wasn't completely out of it. Slurring his words, he patted Molin's shoulder. But, what do you think of my brother here? If you get with him, you can come to the capital with me. All right. He wasn't that sober either. Brother, he looks so much younger than me. It's an age gap. What if he likes your type? Anyway, a man like Xie Huaijin must be claimed by a woman of our family. Molin shook her head and suddenly pointed at me. Brother, you're confused. I won't do. But my daughter can. If my daughter gets him, he's still ours. This was getting ridiculous. Mo Qing looked at me and nodded. Good. Then give him to your daughter. As long as the good stuff stays in the family. Then, our family will have a 3rd rank and a 2nd rank official. I'd like to see who'd dare bully us then. I rubbed my forehead, getting a headache. I didn't expect Mo Qing and his sister to be cut from the same cloth. Though it wasn't surprising, coming from the same mother. I called for people to help them. Mother, time for rest. Seeing her drunk like this, She wouldn't be able to coax Heir to sleep tonight. After finally getting Molin and Mo Qing settled, I went straight to Heir's courtyard. Heir had already been put to sleep by the wet nurse. Looking at him sleeping, I felt a faint unease. Heir resembled Xie Huaijin too much. Even though he was only 5, his cleverness and features were the spitting image of Xie Huaijin. I feared that over time, he would notice something. Fortunately, Mo Qing was only staying at the Su Manor for 2 days to visit his sister. After some thought, I decided to have Molin arrange for Mo Qing and Xie Huaijin to move to the Rong estate tomorrow. Early the next morning, to avoid Xie Huaijin, I took Heir out early, claiming we were going shopping and looking for storefronts. But unexpectedly, we ran into Xie Huaijin out strolling as well. At that moment, I was arguing with the third uncle of the Su family. The second and third uncles heard Mo Qing was back, and assumed he would take Molin to the capital, believing I would lose my backing. They came to intimidate me. Good niece. Some things, if they are yours, they are yours. If they aren't, you won't be able to keep them in the end. Good niece. I've laid it all out for you, you should understand what I mean. If you know what's good for you, hand over half the Su family's wealth. Otherwise, once your legitimate mother leaves, you'll be in for it. Facing third Uncle Su's beady little eyes, my mind wandered. Thank goodness I look like my mother, and didn't inherit my father's looks. Otherwise, I crouched down, hugged Heir, and said, Heir, take a good look at this face. You are to call him third granduncle. Hearing this, third Uncle Su thought I was submitting and pleading for peace. A smile crept across his wrinkled face. My next sentence was, remember, never have any dealings with this kind of person. Not only are they useless, they only know how to use underhanded tricks against women. Truly unbefitting of a real man. Heir was very sharp. He nodded earnestly. I'll remember, mother. What did you say? Is this how you educate your son? As expected, a bastard gives birth to a little bastard. He flew into a rage. My face darkened, just as I was about to retort. The next second, a tall figure stepped into the shop, exuding authority and anger. Who says my Heir has no father? Xie Huaijin, tall and slender, dressed in purple robes, noble and aloof. He looked down at third Uncle Su, his imposing aura unyielding. Third Uncle Su was intimidated by him, but a moment later remembered this was Su territory, and barked back. And where did you pop out from? Some pale-faced scholar here to back up my widowed niece? You don't need to know who I am. Right now. Apologize to Heir. He walked over, and pulled Heir behind him, facing third Uncle Su, his face terrifyingly dark. Why should I? Before third Uncle Su could finish, the next second, Xie Huaijin grabbed his arm, and with a swift twist, dislocated his shoulder. When had the pampered third Uncle Su ever been treated like this? He immediately grimaced in pain. Let me go. Ouch. My arm. If you don't apologize, I'll dislocate the other one too. Still refuse, and I'll break your legs. Xie Huaijin was a man of his word. The next second, he grabbed third Uncle Su's arm and pinned him to the ground. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Good niece. Your third uncle just had a little too much to drink and spoke some nonsense. You know I have a foul mouth. Please, niece, forgive your third uncle. Seeing his pathetic state as he begged for mercy, the hatred in my heart lessened a bit. I smiled. It's fine to get drunk occasionally, but only when the lesson is severe enough will you realize how getting drunk can ruin things. Wouldn't you agree, third Uncle Su? The final facade was torn down. I no longer wanted to pretend to be peaceful and agreeable, because he had crossed my bottom line. Perhaps my tone was a bit harsh. Xie Huaijin exerted force, and dislocated third Uncle Su's other arm. He cursed fiercely, even threatening to report us to the authorities. Funny. Xie Huaijin is a second-rank official in the current dynasty. Who would dare cause him trouble? Today, I suppose I had flaunted my power for once. I turned to thank Xie Huaijin, but he blocked my path. Do you really plan to let this child grow up without a father? He doesn't need one. I answered coldly. But Heir stepped forward first. Uncle, they all say I'm a child without a father. Is it true? My heart ached with his words. Heir. Xie Huaijin crouched down to eye level with Heir, smiling gently. How can there be a child without a father? It's your father who wronged your mother. So she's angry and won't let you acknowledge him. Xie Huaijin. What was this man trying to do? Although Heir was smart, he was only 5. He half understood these words. I'm going back. Xie Huaijin followed me all the way back. He followed us right up to our courtyard, showing no signs of leaving. I tried to close the courtyard door, but he held it open. His eyes were soft, with a hint of redness in the corners. Yingxue, if I say, I am willing to propose to you with a grand dowry procession, would you be willing to come back with me? Young master, we are in the past. Why dwell on it? He and I were worlds apart. There could be no result. At dinner that night, Mullen toasted again. She knew about what happened during the day, and was naturally pleased. That third Uncle Su bullied her precious grandson. This wasn't over. It was originally planned to send Mo Qing and Xie Huaijin to the Rong estate in 2 days. But somehow, Xie Huaijin caught a cold, coughing incessantly every day. Mullen was afraid people would say she was a poor host, so she kept them for 2 more days. My heart was like an ant on a hot pan. For every day Xie Huaijin didn't leave, my heart couldn't find peace. This Xie Huaijin was too good at pretending, claiming to have a cold, yet still coming to play with my Heir. Being biological father and son, they were similar in many ways. Despite an age gap of over 20 years, they played together without any barrier. Xie Huaijin would hold him while climbing trees, carry him while strolling the streets, and hoist him onto his shoulders. I couldn't take it anymore, and went to speak with Mullen, asking if Xie Huaijin could leave. Mullen was surprised by my lack of manners. I had always been composed. Xie Huaijin had only been staying for a few days. Why was I so unwelcoming? I couldn't explain the reason, and had to swallow my words. Returning to my courtyard, the exhaustion of the day washed over me. I dropped my facade, and slumped into a chair. I casually poured myself a cup of tea. Behind me, warm breath swept over, enveloping me. A pair of strong arms pulled me in. Who is it? I was startled. I'm truly sorry. The Su Manor is too large. I walked into the wrong room. With a hint of teasing, yet somewhat smug, I turned my head. The man's beautiful eyes shifted. As he leaned closer, I thought for a long time, and still wanted to ask Miss Su, is Yuer's biological father still alive? Him? To me, he was just a tool. Once used, naturally, he's of no use anymore. With my current status and position, I have no need for a man. In other words, I can have any kind of man I want. Why fixate on just one? Then, what do you think of the one in front of you? I'm quite learned, and not bad looking. I should at least be qualified to be Yuer's stepfather, right? I thought he was drunk and talking nonsense. A second-rank official of the dynasty. Being a stepfather to a merchant's son? I didn't take it to heart at all. I pushed him away and was about to call for help. Don't shout. It wasn't easy for me to find you. His slender hand covered my lips. Deep affection swirled in his eyes. All right. Just a second ago, he said he didn't know the way and walked into the wrong room. You were so heartless. But I couldn't be. I couldn't forget you. A figure like an immortal descended. The future heir to the Marquis of Yangxue's manor. Yet to a woman like me who had given birth to a child, he showed such deep affection. His eyes reflected my image. It was no longer the youthful face of 6 years ago. Now, I too possessed the aura of someone in power. The look between my brows was no longer soft. Yet the young master before me still had a noble brow. Like a clear breeze and bright moon, his slender frame appeared even more aloof. Lord Xie, I thought you wouldn't be able to bear parting with me either. I didn't realize I overestimated myself. It turns out I'm completely unimportant to you. He sneered, as if mocking himself. I turned my head away, afraid to meet the hurt in his eyes. Obviously, he was the one getting married back then. Obviously, I was just a chambermaid. His breath struck again. A large hand gripped my chin, not allowing me to dodge. Seeing his thin lips pressing down, I said urgently, young master, why do this? You should have long been married to the miss from Elder Dong's family. Why entangle yourself further? Yingxue is not a woman of good family, but she is unwilling to be a concubine either. If we had to lay our cards on the table, I could only speak plainly. He was visibly stunned. The haziness in his eyes faded, becoming clear. Who told you I married the miss from the Dong family? Didn't you send betrothal gifts 6 years ago? Never happened. You left 6 years ago because you heard I was going to marry the Dong family's miss? He frowned. Then realization dawned. Even if it wasn't her, it would be someone else. A man like him would never marry poorly. It always had to be a legitimate daughter from a prominent noble family to match him. I didn't. What if I told you I haven't married yet? What if I said I've been waiting for you all this time? Looking for you. Would you be willing to accept me? His eyes turned red, pinning me by the door, his voice carrying a slight tremble. I looked up, crashing into those eyes full of stars. At this moment, he only had me in his eyes. His gaze shifted, full of deep affection. I couldn't believe it. I've had this dream many times. It was always unrealistic. That day I was just delayed in the palace. But when I returned, I couldn't find you. Grandmother said you asked for your deed of sale and left, leaving not a single word. So heartless. I never expected it. Yes, I also didn't expect myself to leave so cleanly. Compared to watching him marry a new bride, I'd rather just leave. Why has the young master remained unmarried all this time? I didn't believe it was for me, but my heart fluttered, wanting an answer. He chuckled. What if I say it's for a little fox? She truly deceived me terribly. My face burned, and I lowered my head. I am not. I never said it was you. It seems you are quite aware that you are that little fox. My chin was lifted, meeting his gaze, sinking into his eyes. These past few days together, it's not that I wasn't moved. More accurately, I had never forgotten him. His reappearance merely unearthed the memories buried deep in my heart, making them vivid again. Things developed in an unpredictable direction. He came prepared. Tonight, he simply didn't plan on letting me go. Heavy breathing rose and fell, lingering in the air. Through the bed curtains, figures intertwined, like two playing birds, entangled endlessly. The next day, I unprecedentedly woke up late. Buyer was waiting at the door. She only entered the room after I got up and opened it. Xie Huaijin had left long ago. Buyer approached me mysteriously. Miss, early this morning, I saw Great Uncle's friend, Lord Xie, sneaking past the entrance of your courtyard. I don't know what he was doing. Should we have someone keep an eye on him? My face flushed red. I coughed dryly and waved my hand. No need. Perhaps he woke up early, had nothing to do, and was just strolling. I really didn't expect Xie Huaijin to leave so late and be seen by my maid. Buyer was still uneasy. How about I mention it to Madam? Absolutely no need. If you go tell her that her brother's friend is acting suspiciously, what would Madam think? Why did it feel like I was caught having an affair? Miss, what you say makes sense. Let me wash and dress you, Mississippi. You woke up late today. You must have been exhausted yesterday. Madam and Great Uncle are already waiting for you in the front hall for breakfast. Hearing her words, my thoughts involuntarily drifted back to last night. Even though we hadn't seen each other for 6 years, I was still familiar with every inch of him. It felt as if our entanglement yesterday was an everyday occurrence. He was just exceptionally passionate with me. Miss, why is your face red? I used to like Buyer's perceptiveness, but today I found it particularly annoying. No wonder people say that being smart at the wrong time is annoying. I took some white powder and patted it on. Probably just a hangover. In the front hall, a table full of people, mostly family. At least outwardly, except for Xie Huaijin, with her maid and family brother's company. Molin spoke much more. Xie Huaijin never liked to talk during meals, just kept his head down and ate. I shot him a few glances, but he didn't look at me once. My heart sank, thinking about last night's tenderness. Was it all just a dream? With nothing to do after the meal, Molin invited Mo Ching to stroll the gardens. The Su Manor was huge, especially the backyard, built against a mountain, with mountain spring water channeled to create a large lake. It was a spectacular sight. Molin and Mo Ching walked in front, while Xie Huaijin and I followed, keeping a moderate distance. Looking at his straight back, I felt a faint discomfort in my heart. Was last night really just a drunken loss of control? It seems I'm overthinking it again. I had walked the Su Manor gardens many times, and had no interest. Feeling down, I kept my head down, staring at the path. Suddenly, my hand was held. I looked up. He smiled at me, his large hand squeezing mine, then immediately letting go. Exactly like a child afraid of being caught by parents. I looked at the two people ahead. What was he afraid of? Afraid others would discover our relationship? Molin pulled Mo Ching to see the plum blossoms in full bloom. Only then did Xie Huaijin lean in and whisper, "To find information about you, I lied to Brother Rong many times. If he found out now, he'd probably turn against me. So we have to take it slow." I gave him a curious look. Even a noble young master like you lies? And many times at that. I was actually quite curious how he lied to Mo Ching. As we walked, we heard movement behind the rockery. It was Molin. Are they getting together yet? How would I know? Poke your head out and look. Mo Ching replied. No. What if they see us? I'm telling you, it won't work. Your daughter and brother Xie are not from the same path. They aren't even looking at each other. Why not? That guy named Xie is nearing 30 and still unmarried. Obviously no one wants him. Luckily he's a second-rank official. A perfect match for my daughter. Don't speak nonsense. Brother Xie might be unmarried, but that's because he doesn't want to. Women wanting to marry him in the capital are lining up. Well, men wanting to marry my daughter could circle the Su Manor twice. Your daughter is truly impressive. Mo Ching gave a thumbs up. Xie Huaijin and I stood nearby, watching these two argue like idiots. Xie Huaijin pursed his lips and smiled, like a tender spring shoot growing. It seems Miss Xie has many admirers. You too. I dropped those two words, and quickly walked off to catch up with Molin. So embarrassing. What, circle the Su Manor twice? What kind of nonsense was she spouting? I grabbed Molin and started scolding her. Why would you say such things? Just creating misunderstandings. Molin knew Xie Huaijin and I had heard, and smiled even more smugly. I just wanted him to know how sought after you are, so he'd take action faster. Take what action? Marry you. Yingxue, you're only in your early 20s. You don't want to stay unmarried forever and just live for Heir, do you? He and I don't know. Thinking back on our past relationship, I shook my head. Molen didn't know about my relationship with Xie Huaijin. She only knew he was a second-rank official. When I returned to the courtyard, I saw Xie Huaijin playing with Heir. Father and son were tossing stones, seeing who could throw further. Xie Huaijin went easy on him every time. The look he gave Heir was probing, yet filled with affection. Seeing me return, he stood up and walked over. Heir is very obedient, very sensible. Like you. If my son doesn't act like me, would he act like him? I nodded. The wet nurse just told me. Heir is 5 this year. So Heir is my child. He walked beside me, his tone laced with joy. I stopped walking and looked up at him. The noble young master spoke with an air of absolute certainty. So what? Young master. Back then, I didn't miss a single bowl of contraceptive soup. If Heir really is yours, then he's truly blessed with great luck. Then I suppose he is truly blessed with great luck. Because there were times you didn't drink the soup. When I saw you drinking the contraceptive soup, I instructed the kitchen to switch it to tonic soup. A boom went off in my head. Unbelievable. So, when I mentioned the contraceptive soup that time, he went and had it replaced. Why? My voice trembled. Don't tell me you didn't want our child? Only with a child could you establish a firm foothold in the Marquis' manor. Only then could I find a way to keep you by my side. By my side. Never mind. Even without the soup. I was going to leave back then anyway. I was glad I didn't discover Heir until after I left. I was glad I gave birth to Heir. He gave me the greatest comfort, even as the young master's child. He would only be born of a concubine. Returning to the Marquis' manor wouldn't be as good as letting him live freely in the Su family. In the Su family, he is the only young master. No one will mistreat him. I won't let him be a concubine's child. He is our child. He should inherit the Marquis' title. I thought he was confused. The Su family's wine must be too strong. Did he even know what he was saying? Inherit the Marquis' title? That honor is reserved for the legitimate eldest son. But he spoke so earnestly. His expression completely serious. He was serious. He wasn't lying. My heart wavered once again. I don't know what method Xie Huaijin used, but he persuaded Mo Qing to stay at the Su Manor with him. What was supposed to be a short stay turned into a long-term residence. I admit I was becoming greedy for this kind of happiness. Being able to see him every day. In his free time, he played with Heir. The two got along very well. Even Molen was jealous, saying she had raised the child for 5 years. Yet taking her eyes off him for a moment, he got close to someone else. Or rather, Molen frowned thoughtfully. Yingxue, tell me, why do I feel like Lord Xie and Heir look more alike the more I look at them? They look like they were carved from the exact same mold. Was it that obvious? Startled, I looked over. Before, I only thought they were similar. Because I knew their temperaments were alike. Equally intelligent and perceptive. But looking exactly the same? I didn't see that. Molen nodded. And continued. That's why I say. You and Lord Xie are a good match. I'm not just saying that. Look. Even your child matches him. I breathed a sigh of relief. So she was just trying to play matchmaker again. I gave a lazy but saw Molen looking melancholy. Though nearing 40, she maintained herself well. And being born an official's daughter, having never endured hardship, people would believe her if she said she wasn't even 30 yet. She sat by the railing, propping her chin with one hand. Her usually cold and aloof face softened slightly, carrying a hint of girlish charm, furrowing her delicate brows. Watching Xie Huaijin and Heir, she sighed. I have no destiny with children in this lifetime. Whether you take Heir with you in the future or not, promise me this. Let Heir be my grandson. Was she afraid I would run away? Or afraid I wouldn't acknowledge her as my legitimate mother? Or do women just have those days of sentimental sorrow every month? You still have a long life ahead of you. Those who wish to leave cannot be kept. But shouldn't you take a look at the person right beside you? I glanced at the coachman standing by the small gate. When he had nothing to do, he always stood there, gazing towards this pavilion. Molen usually loved sitting in this pavilion, lost in thought. Some people, some things, don't need to be spelled out. I saw a fleeting look of shyness and a blush on Molen's face. Molen still had plenty of time. She shouldn't rot away in this Su Manor like dead wood. Neither should I. After staying in the Su Manor for a month, Xie Huaijin was finally urged by a letter from the Marquis' manor, asking why, after requesting only a half-month leave, he still hadn't returned to the capital to report. Of course, there was a reason, but he couldn't state it clearly in the letter. I ended up returning to the capital with Xie Huaijin, bringing the 5-year-old Heir. I temporarily entrusted the Su family's affairs to Molen. I just wanted to fight for myself this once. When the old madam saw me appear with Heir, her face changed color, but not with joy. She looked at Heir, then at Xie Huaijin, and said to me, I truly never expected you to be so scheming. She thought I secretly got pregnant with Heir. I bowed, neither servile nor overbearing. Greetings, old madam. Grandmother. I brought Yingxue back this time to marry her, to give her and Heir a proper status. Xie Huaijin spoke before I could. Marry her? Huaijin, you are the legitimate eldest grandson of the Marquis of Yangxi's Manor. You will inherit the Marquis' title in the future. Coupled with your current glory, it is an unparalleled honor. She is but a chambermaid. Even changing her name now, she's merely from a merchant family. How could she be the Marchioness? I had anticipated the old madam's reaction long ago. She would never agree to me entering the family, because from the very beginning, she never intended for me to stay by the young master's side. Xie Huaijin stood tall, holding Heir with one hand and me with the other, his gaze steady. Grandmother, your grandson is merely informing you, not asking for permission. You. The old madam's face flushed with anger. Xie Huaijin picked Heir up, took my hand, and walked right past the old madam. No one nearby dared to stop him, allowing Xie Huaijin to take us to his courtyard. Separated for 6 years, the courtyard remained exactly the same as before, clean and tidy, without any extra adornments. Just like the man himself, Xie Huaijin ignored the old madam's objections, and settled Heir and me in his courtyard. Then an edict from the palace summoned him. As soon as he left, the old madam couldn't wait any longer and sent someone to call me over. Only, I didn't expect her to be waiting for me in the ancestral hall. The Xie family ancestral hall. Tablets of ancestors were lined up, the everlasting lamps burning. The whole hall was filled with the smell of incense. The old madam stood there rolling her prayer beads. Seeing me arrive, she opened her eyes, but didn't turn to look at me. Peace be with you, old madam. I curtsied gracefully, fulfilling the etiquette. Yingxue, how old were you when you were bought into the Marquis' manor? If I hadn't bought you, where do you think you would have been sold? To a brothel, or as a maid in some noble house? The old madam seemed to ask casually, but was actually reminding me of the vast difference in status between Xie Huaijin and me. 10 years old. Yingxue entered the manor at 10. I don't know. Without the old madam, Yingxue might not be alive today. So, I was kind to you. Yes. The old madam finally turned to look at me. 6 years unseen. Her once noble face now had a few more wrinkles. White hair fully covered the top of her head. Since I was kind to you, why repay my kindness with enmity? Yet you have returned now. You know perfectly well Huaijin is the hope of the entire Marquis' manor. Yet you insist on marrying him. If he marries you, it will ruin his bright future. Old madam, I have already repaid your kindness. 6 years ago, I did what you asked of me. His future was never given by the Marquis' manor. The young master is naturally brilliant. Even if he wasn't the legitimate eldest grandson, he could still pass the exams and become a high official. Without you, he can climb even higher. In short, if he doesn't leave me, I won't leave him. This was my promise to Xie Huaijin. Before we left, fearing I would back out, he held my hand in a moment of passion, his eyes slightly red, and made me swear to stand by him forever, and absolutely never abandon him. I promised him, if he doesn't leave me, I won't leave him. The old madam never expected my past submissiveness was all an act, that I was actually a tough nut to crack. She cursed a few times but could do nothing about me. She couldn't deal with me, because I was no longer the chambermaid from 6 years ago. I am now the incredibly wealthy head of the Su family. I have a noble legitimate mother, a third-rank official uncle at court, and a retired fourth-rank official grandfather. Although none are related by blood, these connections are more than enough. Outside the window, a sudden wind blew, rustling the apricot tree in the courtyard. The tree swayed, petals fluttering down with the wind. A gentle breeze brushed my face. I was slightly dazed. A warmth touched my cheek. Turning my head, I met Xie Huaijin's tender, water-like eyes. He stroked my loose black hair, his tone gentle. You went to see grandmother. Next time she calls you, don't go. She'll just scold you anyway. Why bother listening? Today I petitioned His Majesty to let us live in a separate estate. Once our wedding date is set, we'll move there after we marry. It seemed he knew. I gave in him, feeling vaguely displeased. Why did he hide away, leaving me to face his grandmother's ridicule? Marry? I was stunned. He didn't mention this when he asked me to come to the capital. Naturally. Our child is already so big. If you don't marry me, who else do you want to marry? Oh, I remember now. Back at the Su Manor. There's still a poor scholar pining for you, isn't there? His words were sour with jealousy. Even the hand smoothing my hair exerted a little more force. The poor scholar he meant was the one I hired to look after the bookstore. After I went to the Su family, I found him a job as a shopkeeper. looking out for him a bit. He frequently visited me at the Su Manor, and Xie Huaijin bumped into him a few times. He was quite displeased by that. Mentioning the scholar made him jealous. He's a shopkeeper now, big or small. Stop calling him a poor scholar. He said he's going to take the spring imperial examination next year. I looked in the bronze mirror, watching him pick up a golden begonia hairpin and place it in my hair, thinking it didn't suit me. He swapped it for another. Is that so? His Majesty summoned me today to discuss the spring examination next year. He intends for me to be the chief examiner. Then I'll have to keep a close eye out. I smiled, took the hairpin from his hand, and set it down. Stop being jealous, okay? He only feels gratitude toward me. Even if there was something, it's impossible. Will the old madam? Will she agree to our marriage and moving to a separate estate? Because he had long been in my heart. The old madam had been proud all her life, and her grandson Xie Huaijin was her greatest hope. Now that he had chosen someone so mismatched in status, how could she resign herself to it? I will go plead with grandmother tonight. Don't worry. That night, I waited for Xie Huaijin for a long time, but he didn't return. Instructing the wet nurse to watch Heir, I went to the front hall. A servant told me Xie Huaijin had been marched to the ancestral hall by the old madam. I hurried over. Before I even got close, I heard the sound of a whip cracking, one strike after another. My heart skipped a beat. When I reached the side of the door, through the window, I saw Xie Huaijin kneeling on the ground, wearing only thin clothes. Behind him, a servant was lashing him with a horsewhip. His pristine white clothes were already soaked in blood, yet he knelt there without uttering a single sound, his back completely straight. I covered my mouth, tears blurring my vision. My heart ached with every lash of the whip. The old madam stood to the side, her eyes also filled with heartache. She gritted her teeth. Xie Huaijin, do you still insist on marrying that woman as your main wife? Are you trying to drive your grandmother to her death? I have already compromised, allowing her to be an honorable concubine, and letting her child be recognized by our ancestors. Yet you still refuse to yield a single step? Yes. My resolve remains unchanged. Grandmother, my love for Yingxue runs deep. I cannot extricate myself. She bore my child, and suffered great grievances. I am unwilling to let her suffer for me her entire life. Only a formal marriage, with a grand dowry, welcoming her through the main gates of the Marquis' manor, and making her the Marchioness, can do her justice. His words were loud and clear. Xie Huaijin bowed his head to the ground, with a dull thud. That short speech shocked the old madam so much she couldn't stand steadily. She swayed a few times, and was supported by a maid beside her. Good, very good. Since you were born, I raised you with the utmost care. Your parents died early, leaving behind so many children, yet I only saw great promise in you. I showered you with love, never expecting to raise such a disobedient and unfilial grandson. I might as well bash my head against the wall right here in this ancestral hall. At least I won't have to live to hear people's gossip. Grandmother, you know that is not my intention. If grandmother truly intends to end her life in this hall today, then I can only follow you to the underworld to keep you company. If grandmother feels I am unworthy of the Yangyi Marquis title, then I voluntarily resign, to be removed from the Xie family genealogy, and no longer be a descendant of the Marquis of Yangyi. A fatal blow. These words hurt the old madam more than death itself. She had no choice but to agree. Otherwise, she would either lose her beloved grandson, or the grandson and the title would be gone. Her grandson would no longer be her grandson. The old madam seemed to age decades in an instant. Enough. Perhaps I was wrong 6 years ago. I shouldn't have sent her to your room to serve you. Grandmother, even without what happened 6 years ago, Yingxue would still be mine. The old madam took a long look at him, and turned to leave, encountering me at the door. The old madam's fierce gaze was gone. She just looked back at Xie Huaijin once more, and let the servants support her as she left. I walked up to him, even my fingertips trembling. Looking at the whip marks on his body, tears fell uncontrollably. Why? For me, it's not worth it. But he smiled, his pale thin lips curving up, his eyes full of tenderness. His slightly cool hand gripped mine tightly, his tone soft. Yingxue, don't cry. From now on, I will be your rock. How could this hoarse voice be from crying? It must have been from screaming in pain. That night, I really cried for a very, very long time. It felt like there hadn't been anything worth crying over for a long time. When I left him 6 years ago, I wanted to cry too. But I held it back. This time, he betrayed the entire Marquis' manor for me, without compromising a single step. I couldn't hold it back anymore. I cried until my voice was hoarse, and my eyes were swollen. Yet he just smiled softly, wiping the tears from the corners of my eyes with his thumb. I blushed with embarrassment. Xie Huaijin was very eager to marry me, and eager to move out. In the end, we decided to keep everything simple. only making the wedding banquet grand. It didn't matter that the new estate wasn't fully renovated yet. We planned to move in and renovate it slowly. Speaking of money, no one had more than the Su family. When Mullen arrived in the capital with a miles-long dowry procession, it emptied the streets. The gates of the Marquis' manor were completely blocked by crowds, all coming to see just how extravagant the Su family's dowry was. Mullen stepped out of the carriage. Standing before the manor gates, a dark fur cloak made her look even more coldly glamorous and noble. The one supporting her by the carriage was that honest, rugged coachman. If you ask me, the main gate of the Marquis' manor is a bit too stingy. How about this? My Su family will pay to tear down this Marquis' manor and expand it. She said this to vent my frustration. Hearing this, the old madam's face turned green with anger. People are always humbled in the face of immense wealth. The Su family's dowry filled the entire Marquis' manor and still wasn't all unloaded. They had to buy the courtyards on both sides overnight, just to store the dowry. On the wedding day, the ceremonial cannons alone echoed through the skies over the capital. All the prominent figures from the court and beyond attended. Even the emperor and empress came to observe the ceremony. Partly because the Su family had presented many rare treasures as tribute, and partly because Xie Huaijin had been promoted again. He was now the junior tutor to the crown prince. After all the elaborate rituals, Xie Huaijin finally came to the bridal chamber and lifted my veil. Even though our child was already so big, riding in a bridal sedan was a first for me. We couldn't help but blush. Following the matchmaker, we drank the nuptial wine and let the crowd tease us in the bridal chamber. Finally, only the two of us were left in the room. My face flushed, feeling somewhat awkward. Can you hurry up? No. My legitimate mother brought several chests of account books, telling me to review them quickly. She's still waiting to take them back to reconcile the accounts. Xie Huaijin, who had just loosened his belt, paused, then said playfully, "What? So impatient? Tisk. Wife. Since the Su family is so wealthy, how about I resign from my post and let you support me?" His cool fingers lifted my chin, crashing into those starry eyes. My foolish heart raced. Xie Huaijin laughed softly. His brows were gentle, a smile on his lips. Gentle and refined. An unparalleled gentleman. Like a jade-like figure on the path. This was the immortal-like figure every girl in the capital once dreamed of. I only remember my useless reply. "All right."